Today, I want to give you the 101 on Argentine Bonarda. I think this is probably one of the most underrated grape varieties from Argentina that we probably don't talk about enough. It's actually the third most planted in Argentina. We have over 18,000 hectares, so pretty significant in terms of plantings. And I like to think of it perhaps as a secret hero because it often finds its ways into wines without actually finding its way on the label. So it's kind of gone under the radar for a very long time. And I think that's because we've been a bit confused by the identity for such a long part of its history. So Bonarda originally arrived in the 1800s with all the immigrants from Europe that were coming at that time. And it was likely called Bonarda because they thought it was the Italian Piemontese Bonarda from the Piemonte. But actually it's not. It's Douce Noir, so coming from the Savoie region of France. And it's largely, disappeared in most places in Europe. It's a very minor plantation. But here in Argentina, during that period of the 1800s, 1900s, it grew quite significantly to our rather large kind of land under vine that we have today. And it was in 2011 that actually the INV, which is our viticulture institute here in Argentina, decided to change its name officially from Bonarda to Bonarda Argentino, so Argentinian Bonarda, to make it very clear that it isn't the Italian Bonarda, and give it a more Argentinian name than Douce Noir, which wouldn't make sense after drinking this wine for so long as Bonarda. So if we get down to kind of the nuts and bolts of Bonarda, the reason I decided to do this video today is actually because of the recent release of this Bonarda book, which is written by Roberto González, who is one of the leading winemakers of Bonarda and someone who's really been working a very long time in trying to elevate this grape and also learning how it's best made. Roberto makes wines at Nieto Senetiner, which for me is definitely one of the greatest champions of Bonarda. As we know through his book and also talking to different winemakers, Bonarda is quite a subtle variety. So the reason it's been such a great blending partner for so many years, especially with Malbec, is because naturally Bonarda is a grape variety with rather low tannin, rather low acidity, rather soft fruit characteristics, low in alcohol, but it does have quite an impressive color. It's very deep purple color. And so actually Bonarda is a really beautiful blending partner because it's very versatile, it's quite subtle, it really kind of blends in quite nicely as a supporting act. But what I want to discuss today is Bonarda as a single variety. And I think we've really seen it come up leaps and bounds in recent years as winemakers learn how to manage this variety in the vineyard, which isn't the easiest. It does need some extra attention. And really kind of pick to the right date where you get that nice freshness and that fresh, supple fruit. I wanted to start with tasting some classic wines from Nieto Senetiner, so Roberto's wines. And I actually tasted this one the other day, which is delicious. It's the brand new icon wine of Bonarda. And this comes from a select vineyard in Agrelo, in Luján de Cuyo. It's very elegant. It's quite sophisticated. It's got lovely freshness, but lovely suppleness too. Bonarda always has these supple red and black fruits. It's a very easy drinking, very seductive wine, I would say. But the one that I want to taste with you kind of live now is the Patrimonial label, which is a really great line from Nieto, looking into kind of those key varieties, so Semillon, Bonarda, Malbec, and Criolla, in fact, as well, and really celebrating those classic varieties from Argentina. So this is also from Luján de Cuyo. And I think this one really celebrates what Roberto has been working on for such a long time in order to try and perfect the Bonarda grape as a red variety. It has that lovely kind of plum note. It's got slightly kind of mocha cherry note coming through. A teeny touch of that kind of wild kind of garden herb. Just kind of elevating it and making it a little bit more beyond, a bit more nuanced beyond just fruit. And then lovely, supple, fresh in the palate. What I love about Bonarda is just how easy it is to drink. And it's a great variety. I always chill slightly for the red wines. Most of them are made with very light oak, practically no oak at all, or very kind of subtle oak. and it really is a low tannin variety. So it is one that really can be served chilled, great for a summer day like it is here in Mendoza. And tonight I'm going to be serving this with a really nice kind of Italian style pasta because it's so versatile. It's perfect for pasta dishes. Mine is going to have kale and anchovies. I'm going to throw it all in, but I know this Bonarda is going to hold up perfectly to it. And then the other side of Bonarda that I want to talk about is some of the kind of new interpretations of taking Bonarda beyond just the bright red grape and red wine that it can make. And this I want to taste with you is Altos Las Hormigas. But before talking about that, I need to introduce the Colonia Las Liebres line, which is by the same winery, their sister brand. And they've actually been championing Bonarda as well for a very long time, ever since Alberto Antonini and Attilio Pagli, who are the founders from Italy, started their project. They've always been making excellent Bonarda and a very kind of drinkable, juicy, fresh style. Definitely one for a summer's afternoon. But the wine I'm really excited about is their new release, which has gone into the Altos Las Hormigas line. So elevated to, their top brand of wines. Not the kind of baby brother line, but the top dog, which I think really kind of shows their confidence in the variety today. And this is the delicious Rosa. I love the label. I'm sure, it looks like my sky background, but I absolutely love the label of this. But the wine itself is gorgeous. And I think this really shows the winemaker, which is Federico Gambete's kind of real mastery of the variety today as well. He's a very young, promising winemaker. I think one of the most exciting to follow in Argentina today. And he makes sparkling Bonarda as a white wine, as a white Blanc de Noir, and also a rosé. He's made Brusca, which is a more kind of pet nat style sparkling, but this is a very elegant rosé. There's no alteration here in terms of acidity or adjustments. So this is what we call a low intervention wine. And it shows that lovely kind of floral notes that you can get from the slightly kind of earlier harvested Bonarda, as well as those really nice kind of fresh strawberry red fruit notes and a little bit of that kind of wild herb just creeping in as well. Lovely acidity, fresh, to the point, crisp, makes your mouth water, but also has that lovely balance of the fruit and that very pretty nature that Bonarda has. I'm going to be serving this one tonight with the starter, which is going to be burrata with a fig and rocket or rucola salad, because I think that pepperiness of the rocket's going to go quite nice with the little touch of wild herb that we get. The acidity, I think, will cut nicely through the burrata, and then that fig, I'm hoping, will kind of elevate those lovely kind of soft red fruit aromas that we have coming through the wine. So this is what I think about Argentinian Bonarda. I think it is, I like to call it the kind of Robin to the Batman of Malbec. It's often kind of put outside of the spotlight, but it's such a great supporting role for Malbec. It is fresh, it's supple, it's a bit more simple, but in a really nice way. It's super approachable, it's not intimidating. It normally has a price point which is really accessible. You can get some great bargains, but you can also see it elevated to a kind of top level Bonarda. You could see it made into a really elegant, juicy rosé as well. And I think it's just a brilliant wine to drink chilled, share with friends. Perfect for kind of midweek pasta, weekend burrata, however you want to enjoy it. So thank you for joining me for the 101. I would love to know what your favourite Bonarda wines are. If you have any questions or if you want to kind of shout out to your favourite producers, please do so in the comments. I'd like to know what you're drinking. Salute.